Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you're doing amazing. Well, so today, winter is here, right? And I don't know how winter lands on you, but I kind of love winter, snow and everything. But then I overprotect myself during winter. Although I was born in a place called Shillong in Meghalaya, but then I still kind of overprotect, and so winter is very cozy for me, and so you can see me wearing sweater already, and I see most of the people, they are not even wearing full sleeves, and they're happy, so they are very strong that way. Anyway, so what do we discuss today? Well, the topic is how to not be intimidated by anybody. Well, winter intimidates me, and so I kind of protect myself, and then when I overprotect, I land up falling sick. So similarly, what is intimidation? Intimidation is when you approach a person, or when you're in the presence of a person and you feel inferior, and you feel sort of you have fear in your mind, you're not at your best, you kind of don't show up in your essence, you do not perform the way you generally and naturally are. So kind of that person has an impact over you, and kind of you put them in the pedestal and you fear, right? So you get scared of them, and so that is intimidation. And it mostly stems from the fact that you're scared. So there is a fear, and the fear could be like many times what happens is people who are very tall, who are very heavy build, who are very, the voice, even the way they charismatic, they kind of have that, and in their presence everybody feels very inferior. And then but beneath that also, I'm talking about that intimidation where there is deep-seated fear in your mind, and as a result of which you will find that whenever, even when you go for an interview, you see some kind of a person, you feel threatened by them. They are not approachable, and you are not your best, you can't talk nicely, and there are interviewers who will intimidate you, kind of who will sort of show that they are at a higher space than you, and you are not. So this is a never-ending phenomenon. So what happened is, when I first started my career, I worked, my first boss, not the direct reporting boss, but the senior to that. I was intimidated by her. She was one of the best performers. She was one of the great leaders, and but I was very intimidated by her in her presence, and I was not in my best self. The moment I used to enter her cabin, I am not Priyanka. I am the scared Priyanka who doesn't understand anything. My brain shuts down. I forget everything, and I keep making mistakes. And she says something, and I do something. It is a total mess. And I don't like to be in that space. I never liked being in that presence. I felt as if like there's something lingering over me, and it is like, controlling everything, my behavior, the way I showed up and everything. And that time I thought that the person is actually responsible for the way I'm showing up. But actually, after after I went through my transformation journey, and it's on, and now being on both sides as a coachee myself and as a coach as well, I realized that there's something deeper. It has not much to do with the person, but it has to do with what I think about myself, and most important than even if I think, what I subconsciously feel about myself. And that little girl in me who is scared of certain kind of people. So a lot of things like that. And if there is a belief in you that I'm not good enough, that I'm not good at all, and if there is no approval of the self, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, if you're not satisfied with who you are, if you are not having that love and affection for yourself, then these people who intimidate us just triggers those fears in us and stands as a mirror and then shows us that, this is what is happening. So unless and until that deep down it is corrected and really investigated, the fear is investigated, nothing can happen. And so how to? You know that being intimidated doesn't help at all. You cannot perform well, you're not at your best. And the outcome that it produces is also not best, because you're absolutely operating from fear, which shuts your brain, shuts your creativity, shuts everything which is positive in you, and then makes you perform, do something which you actually aren't, right? So how to overcome that? How to not be intimidated by people? You can't control how people show up. You can't control what they do, but everything is in you, and you have the button. You have that regulator in you, which you can use it to your benefit, and then be yourself. So how to do is, number one, observe the situations when you feel intimidated. It could even be with your partner. In fact, the other day I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and she was telling me that I feel intimidated in the presence of my partner, and I want to roar like a lion, but I can't. I become very timid, and whatever the partner says, she agrees to it, even if she doesn't like it. So this is just an instance. It could be your partner, it could be your friend, it could be your boss, it could be your parents, it could be your colleague, it could be anybody. Probably, let's say you like someone, you want to talk to them, but you're intimidated by their presence, their all the interpretations that you have about them, that they're so good to be approaching, they are so good to be reaching out. And I tell you, again, there were instances when I did not reach out to certain people because I felt they were too good for me to, even for them to entertain me. And then later when I overcome these fears and everything, and I reached out to them, they were so good, I can't tell you. And I think some of the best friendships, some of the best relationships, some of the best connections that I had ever formed were with those people who I was intimidated, and I was caught up in my own stories about them. And when I broke that, things were really, very different. So so number one is observe as to what are the situations when you get intimidated. Who are those people who makes you feel intimidated? And then number two, get present to how you show up when you do that. Let's say you are sitting in front of your boss, and or maybe let me take another example. Someone from Ivy League, and you are about to talk to them, and you're intimidated by their expertise. So what will you do? First, you know that these are the categories of people in whose presence you feel that. Number two, observe what happens in you. What are the quick thoughts which overpowers you the moment? Generally, you can note it down, or you can kind of just get present. Generally, it will be like this in the similar lines. It will be, oh, they are from this Ivy League, and I'm not. So I'm not good enough. They're so brilliant. I'm not. They are an expert. I'm not. They know so many things. I'm not. I'm not good enough. Basically, if you look at it, it says that I'm not good enough. And so what you do is the moment you pass your this message to your brain, what happens is, see, we have these senses like sight, smell, hear, touch, and what was the other one? I forgot. Did I say about sight, smell, taste, hear, and touch? Now, whenever you see a person, you have an image, and then it quickly goes to your mind and gives a picture about, and immediately evokes a thought. And if that thought is not investigated by the mind, which really, really helps you to ground and be in your essence, then what will happen is you will be driven by that thought. So if, let's say, during that conversation, the thought comes up, I'm not good enough, and he's an expert and I'm not, that means I'm a fool, what will happen? Do you think you will even contribute in the communication? Not at all. Your mind will shut down. That's the moment when you have to go to the third step, and that is tell yourself, thank you, limiting mind, for coming up. Thank you for being there, but I am limitless. And bring your focus away from that thought. Replace it with a thought which is powerful. I'm a fool. Is this true? Not at all. It is your interpretation about somebody being in an Ivy League, being an expert, and you're not. I'm not saying that they do not have the expertise. They do have the expertise, but you too have some gifts which are unique, special. And here, let me also tell you one thing. When I spoke to people like this, whom I felt intimidated, I realized that because of this, they don't have good connections in their life, because a lot of people, they face that. They face this intimidation from a lot of people who are intimidated and do not reach out to them. And the impact of that is they are pretty lonely, and people think that they're so godlike and everything. But at the end, what happens is we should not forget that they are human beings. So this brings me to the fourth step, and that is remind yourself, I'm focusing on the human being. Peel off the titles, peel off the designations and everything, because you're not talking to that XYZ from Ivy League or whatever you want to call it, but you're talking and interacting with the human being. It's a practice, like I said, nothing happens in the flicker of a moment. It happens only when you practice. And this worked for me. The way I felt intimidated by certain people, and I used to tell them, wow, I am amazed by your intelligence. I used to even tell them this, and that, brought them at a space where they were more authentic and vulnerable. You will meet some people who will show that air and everything, and it is up to you whether you would like to invest your time and energy in that conversation or not. But if you're intimidated usually by these categories of people and it's impacting your life, then definitely you should try doing these things which I have said. And once you do this, your focus will be shifted and you will be absolutely grounded in your essence. Another tip which you can use is also remind yourself of your essence. You know what an essence is? Essence is who you truly are. Like my coach told me what are my essence are. There's actually process of finding out that, which I do with my clients even to find their essence. It is, my essence is like joy, radiance, devotion, wisdom, serenity. And I always remind myself of my essence and that I'm a human being and I'm talking to another human being, and things turn out to be really great. The way I get intimidated by some people, on the hindsight, there are others who get intimidated. And so then I realized it is very important for me to be mindful of how I show up in the world and what is the impact that my being, my presence is creating in the world. And so if you notice, most of the people would say that I'm very approachable, very, very kind of make them at ease when I have conversations with them. And I have learned it because I know how it feels like to be intimidated, and I know also how it feels like to intimidate someone. So, well, that's it I have for you in this video. Please do let me know. I would love to read your comments if who is the person who intimidated you and how you handle it, and is there still someone, and what is it that you did and would like to do. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Those who are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And until next, take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.